Could not be more pumped to be here.
I rock with that one too.
Fitz win championship.
Yes, sir.
Something called the Puppy Bowl. Ain't that right, Tim? He's gonna be in his bag.
A coach like that, you gotta fly around and and run through a wall for him.
It all starts right now.
Welcome, Commanders family, into Command Center, presented by SeatGeek, the official primary ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders. Our new head coach has entered the building, people. That's right, Commanders fans. You are seeing Dan Quinn's arrival to our practice facility out here in Ashburn, Virginia this morning for his first day. That's right, his first day on the job. And you always gotta love when the new head coach comes in style. You see the fresh J's on his feet. Well, our new head coach took time out of his busy first day to come hang out with me and Logan Paulson. What's up, Commanders family? Brian Colbert Jr. here with Logan Paulson and our brand new head coach, Dan Quinn. Dan, how you doing today, sir?
All right, man.
Yes, round of applause.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Honestly, man, today's a moment. And I could not be more pumped to be here and get it rocking. There's so many things that made coming here in this spot, in this time, why this job lit me up more than anything else. So I'm absolutely jacked to be here with you guys today, man.
Do you have any specifics about why this is the job for you? I mean, obviously you got Adam Peters, you got the team, new coaching opportunity. What's the reason? If you had to point to something?
I think there was probably a couple things that I was always looking for, Logan. Maybe over the last couple years, you're thinking, if I get a chance, what would that look like? And I wanted to make sure every step of the way, the partnership, with the general manager. I think as a head coach, that's so important. So I knew Adam was the right guy. If I was to give that op, I needed that with me. You needed somebody to be shoulder to shoulder with, on the best of days and on the hardest days. You also needed an ownership group, that was willing to support and go compete for championships in every single way. And so those were the top two. And then after that, I wanted to make sure, if I had a chance to get to a place that had a fan base, that was absolutely so, passionate about the team. If we're going to do this, why wouldn't you want to do it at a club that's over the top, want to go for it? And so those are the things that I was looking for coming into it. If I got another shot, I'd want to make sure the partnership with a general manager, an ownership group that could be committed, a fan base, because I thought once you have those three things in line, Logan, now you can really build a program that sustains and kicks ass for a long time. And so that's what I was looking for. And so when these markers all met here with Josh and with Adam and the fan base, this is a historic place, man. Commanders ain't regular, so I wanted to make sure, if I had a chance to line those three things up, I was going to absolutely let it rip and go for it, running 1,000 miles an hour.
And Coach, you talked about you and Adam Peters being side by side. Well, you guys had a lot of initial conversations before you made this decision. What about those conversations made you say, this is the guy I want to work for?
I think, most things, you want to know who the person is first, and so through the years, I think I met Adam my first time in Denver, when he was there, just some mutual friends, and so keeping up through the years, and you always, following somebody say okay, that's a real one. And if you know that, and you say, that's the type of person, I'd like to work with. Unfortunately, in our league, there's some people like that, that you don't always get to work with them. But when the moments happen, you're okay, that's what it looks like. And so I knew coming in that we wanted to see alignment together. We wanted fast, explosive, and tough players that could absolutely, bring it right to the edge. And so that's our shared vision, of what a kick-ass, explosive and physical team would look like. And so when we see alignment like that, it's much easier to do it. So it was really cool last night, him and his wife meeting Stacy and I at the airport. That's brotherhood. It could have very easily been, hey man, I'll see you tomorrow. And I had no idea he was going to be waiting for me at the airport, but that shows you a connection to someone else. And if you get that part right, then a lot of the other cool stuff can take place.
Yeah, it's crazy because he's such a personal guy, kind of understands the value of that interpersonal relationship. And I've never played with a coach like you who's understand the value of the player and the relationship. Can you talk about what it means to build that culture and bring that culture and have a buddy like Brian's saying to help you get that done?
Yeah, I think, and you'd know this better than anybody, the best of the best teams are really good in the locker room first. And so the leadership, which that's me, and that's something I like to talk about, but it's not just me. You know, the best of the best is now seeing the leadership in others and helping bring them out. And so let's use like Logan for an example. Not everybody has to lead in every single space, but like if you were to walk into the weight room with Logan, that's the person you'd want leading you. Like his standards of how he went after it, like the details that he went to, the edge to find, you know, all of those were there. Now, you might have went to somebody else, you know, okay, in the meeting room, we were going to do this. So there's all sorts of ways for guys to lead and connect and support one another. But at the end of it, man, like they have to be tight. And if you are like, hey, man, worry about yourself, I'll take care of mine, like you're not going to be very good. You know, it's like you better be in it for one another. And that's what, like, in pro football, business, it does intersect some, but it's also really important to know, like, you do play with the guy and for the guy right next to you. And like that hasn't been lost in, you know, 100 years of the NFL. And like that to me is when the best of the best happens. Like guys just want to go like, we are going to absolutely kick their ass today. It's going to take all of us. And I hope that when people have to play us, that it's going to be a nightmare. You know, it's scheme, it's people, it's play style, it's attitude, it's all.
And how do you build? Because that's like the magic formula. Yeah. Like, and you've had a lot of success with it. Like, what is the key, in your opinion, to getting that done? Obviously, it's the guys, but you have to have some input on that as well.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it starts the leadership with me first to make sure I set the course, and then you also have to at times recalibrate. Say, no, we're getting off course. Let's keep the main thing, and that has to be the play style and the connection to one another. So, like most things, like trust, it takes some time to build. You know, it's not, you know, you just, here's the Kool-Aid, drink it. Like, sometimes that's good. People do that. Others, it takes a little more time. And so by the end of it, we just want to make sure, like, no matter what, like, this is how we get it on as a group. And we'll work our ass off to go do that.
Now that you got to hear from your new head coach, let's take another look at his extensive resume across the pro and college level. Coach Dan Quinn got his start in the NFL in 2001 for the Niners as a defensive quality control coach. In 2011, he was Florida's defensive coordinator and their defensive line coach. But then he went back to the NFL for 2013-2014 for that Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom era. Yes, he was the defensive coordinator for that, and then the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons from 2015 to 2020, where he did see a Super Bowl appearance. And then, of course, he is coming from the Dallas Cowboys as their defensive coordinator. That's the numbers on DQ. Now let's hear what he had to say in his introductory press conference this afternoon.
We told you we were going to go find the best leader for Washington football, someone that we felt would lead Washington to be an elite franchise. And Dan, I'm so excited.
So let me tell you, I am ready to run and prove it. Run like hell. Competitive moments in my life have come when you had to go prove it. And that's what I want to apply.
Had a great connection and a great shared vision. So it was almost right away that I knew Dan would be the great coach for us.
But there is nothing I enjoy more than doing hard shit with good people. And these guys here, they're some really good people.
Y'all heard Coach. Hard shit with good people sounds a lot like my days in the Command Center studio right here. Got some good people here. Welcome in to Santana Boss, London Fletcher, Fred Smoot, Logan. We saw you earlier with our interview. Fellas, we just heard from our head coach. What are your initial thoughts on him being welcomed to Washington?
I have no problems. I mean, I had no problem from the get-go when I heard that, you know, he was one of those guys that we was looking into. But after you get a chance to sit there and listen to him speak, man, it just shows you why those guys flew around the ball everywhere he's been. His defense kind of, you know, imitated him a little bit, in a sense, you know?
Yeah, when you watch that and listen to the press conference, you can feel his passion. Mm-hmm. You can feel him as a leader. They talked about wanting a leader of men.
Yeah.
And listening to him at that press conference, I wanted to get back in shape and go play some football. love to talk about playing style. Love to talk about tackling in space. I love everything about the Dan Quinn hire.
First of all, high IQ. All right, that's what it is, high football IQ. And not only high IQ, he's a person that's been around football so long. When you got a new owner, you got a new GM, and they're new to their job, you want to bring somebody in that's been around the corner before. And like he said before, this stuck out in my head more than anything. All I thought about was when I get my next chance. Yeah. And when you think about that, all you're thinking about is where did I get it wrong the first time? And I think right now he's going to be in his bag. And if you're on this football team after watching that, you should be excited to play some football.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what Fred's saying there, I think is a great point. Like this idea that he's been kind of waiting and learning each opportunity to kind of get himself better. It's really hard, I think, Fred, coaches, and you guys can speak to this too, to kind of say, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I messed up. That position is such a position that says, I know everything.
Yeah.
And so everyone say, no, I could do this better. I could kind of focus in on the team. I can let the GM do his job. I thought it was such good insight, and I think it's just, to me, gets me so geeked up that it's going to be done the right way.
Looking at and listening to him, for him to be able to articulate his vision
100%.
clearly. Like there was no gray area.
Yeah, it was.
And one thing you want to have, we've all had multiple head coaches, his communication skills. That right there, I mean, he let you know exactly who he is as a man, what he believes in as a head football coach, and what his vision is and the type of players he wants, the type of play
100%.
style he wants, and the vision for this organization.
We've been around here long enough to see the different coaches who likes to get in front of that room and speak and hold that room, and he did just that. But one of the things that stood out to me is just him talking about after it was over in Atlanta, I went back and got the film from Seattle all the way up until now, and told myself, okay, this is what I've been running in those two schemes. Now I have to do a little different because of what these other guys offensively have started to do. So, that's a guy that's holding himself accountable, and that's why he holds his players accountable, because he's going to put them in the right situations. Speaking on talking about going to get a guy that fit what he wants to do. We got this guy, he does this well, I can't wait to see. No, I want a guy who does what we do well. You know what I mean? So, I loved all that. And like I say, I've been on offenses that played against this guy. So I understand why these guys are like they are. Because you have a coach like that, you got to fly around and, and run through a wall for him.
And that's exactly what you were saying earlier, Fred. Off camera, we were talking about how excited you were to see a guy like this come in, particularly for our secondary. How does he put the secondary in position to be successful every time?
See, this is what Emmanuel Ford should be just praying beside his bed right now. This is the biggest gift you could ever gave him. Let's just look at the pass. All right, Trayvon goes 9 interceptions. He gets injured. They fill in him with another guy in Bland, and he goes 10 interceptions and 5 to the house. That means they're scheming these interceptions up. That means when I go into a game, because I done been on defenses where me and London played together, where we went into a game, we already knew what down we was going to get a pick from. We had already planned it because our coach, Greg Williams, had already showed us during the week. So if you're a cornerback, not only are you confident, you know you finna play your best ball. And that's what all football players ask for. Coach, put me in position to make some plays so I can play my best ball so I can get that big bag.
Yeah. Something of the things that he just talked about, just as far as from the defensive back standpoint, when you have those guys being aggressive like they are, it's because they know what they're going to have up front. Some of the things that he talked about, the trenches. He want those guys on both sides of the ball for his team to play well. So that's where he's going to build them first. When you're a defensive back, man, we watch so many cut-ups of the Dallas Cowboys and see how they up in guys' face. They know what they got coming. They know what their defensive front going to bring. So I would love to be a guy who haven't played in this league at defensive back just to be in that position. I know the ball coming out hot. It's coming to me 9 times out of 10. So just imagine a guy who's comfortable at that position, who's played it well, who know he want those opportunities. Those guys should be chopping at the bits right now.
And see, Logan, it's not just the defensive guys that are hype about Dan Quinn. It's the offensive guys as well.
No doubt.
Particularly, because you guys have a relationship. You have known Dan Quinn for a while. Why is he the perfect fit?
Well, I think like Fletch said, like his superpower to me is building relationships with players, and he's just being a dynamic leader. And I think when you hear him talk about the maturation of his leadership, it's like it's me. But then the thing that I thought was most definitive was that it's about empowering other people to be leaders, encouraging the players, encouraging the coaches, encouraging the coordinators. And I think that is the thing that gets me so excited about the cultural element here, right? It's a guy with such a clear vision and understanding of what that leadership is and how to build a program, build a program with a strong culture. I think that's going to be just a fantastic start for this new era of the Commanders.
And fellas, we have plenty to talk about the head coach. London, did I cut you off? You got
I wanted to get in there, I had thinking about the press conference. He talked about keeping the main thing.
The main thing. I love that.
Players and the coaches. And the main thing, and also being lockstep with the general manager. Them being lockstep with the ownership, GM, and him as the head coach. That's music to our ears, especially around here. We haven't always been that type of situation, that type of environment. I can't wait to see what type of football team he puts on this field come the fall.
And I think we're all excited to see what Dan Quinn has to bring, but he also brought in an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. During his presser, Dan Quinn talked about that. Let's take a listen.
In the same way of why I wanted to hire Kyle years ago, like
he was hard to go against. He would stretch the field horizontally and vertically, and going against Cliff, those same feelings you had. This is going to be tough. Matchups, formation, speed, shots down the field, aggressiveness, boldness to go. And so as a coach, you were writing down some names if this is something in your future that said, if I get that shot, this is somebody I would want to talk to. And then with Joe, it's a little different because I had a chance to be shoulder to shoulder with him, over the last 3 years in Dallas. And through that time, I've just seen the detail, the connection, the play style, and so to play good defense, you better be a good tackling team, and you better know how to take the ball away. And those are two things Joe and the units that he was charged with have been excellent at. And I think over the last 3 years, with Joe there, the team had been, at the top of the league in terms of takeaways and defensive touchdowns. If you want to play good defense, you better tackle, because I'm not talking about in the A gap. I'm talking about there's space plays that happen in today's NFL. And so in that space, how do you have the technique to go and make tackles where guys like Cliff and Kyle and everybody else want to create all this space to say, make it hard. So you better be a good tackling team, and you better know how to get the ball away and show good disguises, to make the quarterback have to read the coverages after he has the ball in his hand. And Joe's been exceptional at that through his career.
Well, fellas, hearing Coach talk about these coordinators and why he chose them really has me fired up. So let's get into it. Kingsbury, he has a past with young quarterbacks, right? Yeah. Talk about Caleb Williams. Talk about Johnny Manziel. Why is that important to have a guy like that here in this building?
I mean, it's exceptionally critical, but I don't think it's because of his work with the quarterbacks. I think it's because of what Dan was mentioning there. You're looking for an offense that challenges defenses from a space standpoint. So, Fletch, we were talking about this earlier. Like, the splits in those offenses are crazy, right?
Yeah.
The number counts, right? We're always trying to maximize space and put the defense in conflict. And when you look at Arizona, for example, using the quarterback's rushing ability to compromise what you do from a number standpoint was excellent. And then I thought, they run the ball at the quarterback. That's kind of like a cheat code in the NFL.
Yeah.
No, it's also how they use play action pass, jet motion, sweeps to kind of create space in the second level. So I think you have a very innovative play caller, which is what helps with those young quarterbacks and saying, can we find easy opportunities for these guys to be super productive? So I love some of the correlations that he drew, because you see that on film, especially in that 2021 year in Arizona.
And when a quarterback can be productive, Tan, and you know better than anybody, that means a receiver can be productive. What do you expect to see from our receivers in this offense?
Well, just speaking of some of the things that he just mentioned, as far as how you like to, spread guys out, you kind of manipulate, to the defense what they want to do, and if the defense course slipping, now I'm gonna take advantage of those guys outside because we have a mismatch when it comes to numbers. Or if that linebacker go out there to help, now I can run this ball. So those are some of the things that showed up on film. But one of the things that I'm excited for is just seeing some of the things that I've watched on film where he just find a way to get these guys the ball in space, knowing that I don't have to necessarily always push these guys down the field to get the ball in their hands. Give it to them now, let them do what they do best.
Well, fellas, it's not just Cliff Kingsbury running this offense. We also have a new defensive coordinator in Joe Witt Jr. We talked about that secondary a little bit. Fred, how are you expecting him to come and impact our defense?
Like Coach said, he took his coverage part of his defense to another level. So now if you're the defensive backs, all I would do would go home and watch Cowboys film. I want to see why they made those plays. I want to see what coverages are they playing. And what I think they do a great job of is everybody understanding the coverages and the weaknesses, understanding their responsibility compared to what my responsibility is. And when they start to play as a unit, when they start to play as one, I think that's when this thing going to really start to click. But I think he brings a lot to the table, not just for the defensive backs, for the defensive line and the linebackers too, because I must say this. If I'm looking for one person to truly improve in this defense, it's Jamin Davis. Like, I think he will take that step. Might not be a Micah Parsons type step, but I think he will take a step in this defense.
When he talks also about, identifying what these guys do well. And finding a way and finding a role to be able to maximize those players and their potential. The defensive front, being able to manipulate the pass protection, manipulate the pass protection, creating free rushers, things like that, showing a simulated pressure and being able to get free runners to the quarterback. The defensive secondary, they got to be tightened up on the back end, but also what he brings to the defensive front. You'll see more speed on the defense, more speed at the linebacker position, but also being able to create one-on-one matchups for your best pass rushers. I love that about this defense that they're bringing from the Cowboys.
We're definitely bringing in some heavy hitters for our coordinator position, but this show is all about the head coach. He was just announced, so let's take a look at Dan Quinn's career numbers. These are our lucky numbers brought to you by Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today, but please play responsibly. Quinn's resume in the NFL spans just over 20 years, including a head coaching stint with the Atlanta Falcons. The Commanders' newest head coach got his start in the NFL as a defensive quality control coach with the San Francisco 49ers under Steve Mariucci. Quinn has made 2 trips to the Super Bowl. That's right, 2. One as a head coach with the Atlanta Falcons and once as a defensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks, where he earned the Lombardi Trophy. Most recently, Quinn served as the Cowboys defensive coordinator, where he led a top 5 defense in the NFL. Now that we've gone over that resume, let's send it over to film guru Logan Paulson, who's set to break down some of the best plays from our new head coach and coordinators.
Brian, thanks so much. And let's talk about this defense, man. Dan Quinn was at the helm. Joe Witt Jr. was a guy heavily involved, right, with the pass game coordinator of the defense. What I love about this, guys, is they do such a great job of understanding where their help is and playing aggressively to let that pressure get home. So I think this first play is a good example, right? We're manned up across the board, got great coverage here. We got the whole player in the back end here. And it's just simple. It's cover 1, right?
Yep.
Do we know if these guys are coming?
We don't.
I don't know, right?
We don't.
But what I love about this is how it forces the quarterback to take a beat here and allows the pressure to get home.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned one thing I love about this look by the Dallas Cowboys is we call this simulated pressures or manipulating your protection. He got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys up in the line of scrimmage. That's going to force the New York Jets to slide this protection towards Micah Parsons. And what that allows is for them to manipulate the pressure. They only end up bringing 4 guys. And what do? You get Micah Parsons stunning up in the inside of your defense, your offensive line, and he's going to come home with that sack. It all started by the manipulation of the pass protection of the Dallas Cowboys.
And you think it starts with the protection? I think it starts with the coverage.
I think it started with the coverage. If you watch these coverage guys right there, especially when you talk about the quick throws right now, they are going right now. They're not sitting in zone. They're making him go to his second, his third read. That's 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, giving Micah Parsons time to get there. Like you said, Fletch, it was a 4-man rush. For a 4-man rush to get there, the guy's got to cover on the back end.
This guy right here is the one who takes it away. Yeah, he takes it away. He wants that throw. If he throws that, it's going to be intercepted.
And Fletch, I mean, Smoot, talk about this leverage right here with the outside leverage here with the quarterback and like why that's so important in terms of playing to your help.
Well, I'm going to say at the end of the day, he's playing to his help. He understands I have no help on the outside, so I'm going to stay on the outside, and on the inside, I'm going to ride him on his back hip and let my guy, his body, take that away.
Yeah, and everyone talks about Micah Parsons, and like you already hit on this a little bit, Fletch. We're working the slide this way, and again, I think Parsons is an excellent football player.
Yeah.
But as a coach, can I help him out?
Yeah.
I think so. Let's take a look at this stunt real quick. So to me, this sack comes from number 97.
Yeah.
Works vertical penetration into the defense, forces the center to buy him, and then Micah just has to loop around and work the timing.
Yes.
And so that's how you maximize a 4-man rush. That's how you maximize the coverage.
No doubt.
So I think that's absolutely great. And then the coverage stuff, they play a lot of man. Oh, little dog actually. Right there.
I like that.
Like that, huh?
Now,
Like
who
that
let
energy?
them dogs out?
Who let them dogs out? And so they play a lot of man, but they also play a lot of quarters. And when I see them play quarters, I'm like, man, they do a really nice job of knowing their rules, right? Knowing their rules. And talk about this a little bit here, Fletch, because we get this crosser coming across the field, and I'm trying as an offensive coordinator to get this in behind this quarters coverage.
Yeah, you're trying to get that behind that, but what the Cowboys do a great job is right here. Let's go right here. When he runs this shallow crosser, he's going to take him. This corner replaces him in the post. And this is outstanding work by this defensive back, and he comes up with a great interception.
And Tanner, what would you coach Hyatt here to do, right? Like, I think this is one of those things that people forget about the receivers. Like, this is good by the defense, but I'm an offensive guy. It bothers me when I see poor route execution, because if he knows it's quarters, I got to keep this higher, right? Because you know that guy's going to replace. And in this situation, this guy gives him an opportunity to make this play.
I hear Kyle all the time right now telling us to make sure we keep it high, because that guy on the backside is going to replace that guy.
Smooth, we ain't going to let them.
No, we're talking
about a great defensive play. We're not going to let y'all try to
do that with the offense.
You can say what you want. He keep it high.
That's a great defensive play by that guy. That's a great play by him.
No way you should throw this ball right here, and you got 3 guys back here right there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But if the quarterback puts it up and down fast enough, and he keeps it high, he has an opportunity.
If he kept it high, it's just gonna be intercepted down there. He took it low, and it was intercepted right there.
We don't want
so
that.
it don't matter.
But hey, great play. And again, one of the things Dan Quinn does such a great job of is emphasizing turnovers and encouraging guys to make plays on the football.
Yeah.
He does such a great job. And we talked about coaching with the quarters coverage, with the man understanding the help. To me, Fred, this is something you talk about, Tanny, you talk about this all the time too, is the communication, right?
Yes.
We're going to get
Yes.
a short motion here and watch our guys just talking to each other. Hey, man, now we're in a bunch.
Yep.
Hands up. I'm going to take this guy crossing the formation and thinking about this and how it puts these guys in the best position to be successful is fantastic to me.
Outside corner saying motion, 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 alerting the nickel right now. All right, we finna trade this off. Like making everybody's job easier. Like I always told you, the best defense that I ever played on, communication was the reason we was good. And not the players, it's not about the Jimmy and the Joes. Sometimes it's about the X's and O's, and that's what Dan Quinn's showing you on this play.
100%.
And what we love is we talked about playing to your leverage, playing the details. So right here you have a robber.
Yeah.
You got a robber right here. He's playing. He has inside help, low inside help. So these guys should be playing outside leverage. We want you to break inside.
Yeah, exactly.
So when these receivers come on the inside breaking route, we got him. Ready to rob. He's ready to rob.
Right
That's
there.
Playing between
paying
both of those
attention
guys.
to the details
Yeah.
of the defense.
And so, again, that's defensive football. And now let's talk about some offensive football,
Come on,
right?
man.
Because that's why we're here, right?
Let's go.
Because we got a new
Move on.
offensive
Y'all
coordinator.
only sell tickets.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury, right?
Defense wins championship.
Oh, stop. Stop. So one of the things I love here is, it's an offense that's, I don't know, they do a lot of kind of the same stuff. But one of the things that Kyle always said is we're doing the same stuff, but we're making it look complicated. I see a little shades of that here, especially with the passing game of Cliff Kingsbury, right? We're going to motion. Now, what is this, Fletch? You know what this is? This is a four receiver.
4x1.
4x1. This is your
4x1.
favorite thing, Smoot, right?
Yep.
They don't get adjusted to it. They would adjust to it if we did it off a shift, right? So now we're going to run out here. We're going to run a little bubble screen to the offensive left. We force this guy in a bad position. He's out leveraged on the block. Great job. And then we get a space player in space and Tana, let that man cook, right?
Making a play, you know what I mean? Finding a way to get the guy who can make plays with the ball in his hands. Finding a way, instead of just lining him up outside, I'm going to bring him in the backfield and give him a little quick screen and let him do the rest, you know?
Here's what I saw about this, just from a defensive perspective. So you talked about running back to the stop of this. The communication or lack thereof. You talk about 4x1. Look at the confusion that takes place. Run a little bit more. The confusion that takes place between these guys. There's confusion that took place, and that's what you want to create from an offensive standpoint. A little bit of doubt, lack of communication, that leads to an explosive play on the offensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. And so that's one of the features of the run game, right? Is these short, quick screens with satellite players. And let's just talk about what we're seeing here with the RPO stuff. And so right now we got this bunch up top. We got three guys, right?
Yeah.
We got 3 over 3. We're reading this player here, and if he vacates and pushes wide, we're going to hand the football off. So watch our guy Warner right here. Watch him get a little bit slow to go, right? Offensive line gets a great angle up and out, right? This double team's here. We create a seam, and then a big back. Connors, we have a big back, right? Let him get downhill with shoulders square on guys that are covered up, and I like that.
And run this back, Logan. Just because of that little hesitation allows him to get up on
Thin box.
on Warner. All he wants is just a little bit of hesitation, allows the blocking angle to take
And
place.
you talked about this too, just the splits and things like this. These are stuff you're going to see in this offense. Widen guys out, create natural space, force these guys into isolated situations, get downhill. Love that, right?
What you do with those bunches and stuff like that, you make the defense show their hand. All right, either you're going to box it with 4 players or you're going to play it 3-on-3. Whatever you do, you undress yourself and you show us on offense what are you trying to do.
I'm telling you this, man. You can't be right.
That's
the problem. You can't be right as a defense because if Warner, if he stays here for the run, he's
They
just
gonna
going to
throw screen at
They
you.
just throw the ball screen.
Yeah.
So you can't be right as a defensive player. And trust me, I've been in those positions and it is frustrating. You're like, do I go to stop the run or do I go to try to stop defend that pass? It creates explosives.
Absolutely. And so the other thing I say is, well, he's got all these kind of, I don't want to say gimmicky things, but very college element things. But I also see a guy who understands how to create space. And Tana, we ran a lot of drift, right? Which is just basically a 10-yard in cut, right? Tons of drift. And so to me, what they're going to do here is they're going to pull this guard, watch how they isolate Fred Warner, they force him to react to the guard, and look at the grass they're able to create on this drift concept, right? For the receiver, Tanner.
Wide open.
And that's something that you had a lot of experience with, right?
One of the things I love about this play right here in particular, though, because you got to think about how we were talking about showing them something that they've seen before.
Yeah.
They probably seen slip screen a million times with this offense, so they're saying, okay, here's a slip screen.
Yeah.
And both of those guys are going to respond the same way, but that void that was left open, you know, Kingsbury told them, hey, this is going to be the void, so now we get to run that drift behind them, show them slip screen, and run something different. So
that's
love the
awesome to
concept.
see, right? You see innovation in the run game, or kind of challenging things, innovation in the pass game, and that gets me incredibly excited, Fletch, because the defense can't be right in these situations.
Yeah,
right?
they can't.
All right, I don't know. What do you think? Should we send it back to Brian?
Yeah, I guess we can send it back to BC.
All right, Brian, back to you.
Shout out to Logan and the crew for their insights into our new offensive and defensive minds. Now, we know our offensive coordinator has some experience with developing young quarterbacks, so let's take a look at his full resume. Cliff Kingsbury is coming here after a one-season stint with USC as their senior offensive analyst. Before that, he was the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals for 3 seasons, and of course, he's had some success at the collegiate level as well, being offensive coordinator for Houston and Texas A&M, as well as a 5-year stint as a head coach with Texas Tech. Now that you're familiar with our new offensive coordinator, let's send it over to someone who needs no introduction. Tanner, take it away.
Fellas, it's time to just chill. Brought to you by Steam Fitters. Steam Fitters UA Local 602 provides the highest level HVAC and mechanical piping services. Welcome back to another edition of Just Chill. Before we get started, we got to introduce. We got somebody new here today.
Bring him on in here. Come on in here. Yellow
London
jacket.
Fletcher. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I'm back. What's up, fellas?
How you doing, man? Just Chill. Welcome to our segment.
Yeah.
Tell us what you
first
got.
time on is Just Chill. All right, I'm gonna start this off, man. Shout out to Melvin from YouTube. Melvin wants to know, this for you, Fred.
Yeah.
As a long 38-year-old Commanders fan, I'm excited. I like the hire with Dan Quinn. Commanders Nation, stand up. Let's go. All right, fellas. Y'all rocking with that, or should Melvin chill?
I'm rocking with it. And like at the end of the day, we talking about a defensive coach that had a top 5 defense in this league for the last 3 years. And guess what? We always say this, London, and nobody like to hear this. Defense win championships.
Yes, sir.
Offense sells tickets.
Y'all just sell tickets, Tanner.
Rocking with it, though. Selling tickets or not, I'm rocking with it. And I rock with it. I like that one.
I love that hire, too. I'm rocking with it, too, Melvin.
I'm rocking with you, Melvin.
All right, Melvin, that was a good one, Melvin. My next one will be from Ricky.
All right,
From
all right.
YouTube. Ricky says, love you guys. Smoot, man, you funny as hell.
I am.
If we can get Caleb Williams at number 1, definitely. But I'm struggling between Drake May and Jaden Daniels. I have faith, though, in Adam Peters to choose the right one. How y'all feel about that, man?
Well, of course, Caleb is the creme de la creme. We, behind the scenes, have had our discussions about Jaden Daniels and Drake May. I just think it's a no-lose situation. I think it's a win-win situation. And what about y'all?
I think that one right there is kind of fair. I mean, he talked about 3 guys that we wouldn't probably have no problem with having.
Yeah.
So I kind of rock with that one, too.
I'm going to go with, I love Jaden Daniels. I think he's special.
You got a man crush on him.
Listen, the more I watch of Jaden Daniels, the more I'm just like, I'm not sure. I wouldn't take him number 1 overall.
Wow.
That guy, man, love his size, 6'4", and he has special ability.
I'm about to tell you, just chill. For this one, I'm going to have to bring the guys in. Come on in. I'm going to have to bring the whole family in for mine. Come on in here, fellas.
What's up, dude?
What up? What's going on?
set y'all got over there. It's all right.
We look like a boy band right now. You know what I'm saying?
We got to come up with a name.
Yeah. Couple of spirits. All right, as we know on ESPN, on Instagram, they had the number 1 most complete team of all time is the Super Bowl team of 1991 of Washington. All right, led by Coach Gibbs, a.k.a. the Joseph, and Mark Rippon, 17-2 record. The most complete team of all times. How y'all feel about that, fellas?
I love it. I think, one of the things that stood out when I heard this, I was just with B. Mitch earlier this year and talking about that same team.
Yep.
He talked about how they dominated. He said when they lost, they knew that they laid the egg, that they wasn't themselves. So when I heard that, I'm like, wow, B. Mitch was just talking about how no one could stop that 91 team.
You know what? I know I'm a commander.
You gonna say St. Louis? You gonna say St. Louis?
I'm chilling on this.
Show us who you really
the
are.
1999 Rams. We had the greatest show on turf. The offense was outstanding, number 1 in the league. what people don't realize, defensively, we were a top 5 defense. We got after that hind part. So I'm gonna have to chill on y'all. I understand
Somebody boo this man. Somebody boo this man. It says right here, the 1991 team, the best team of all time in history.
I don't know what metrics they use.
what are they
They
using
use
for
the
that?
right metrics.
Is it point differential? Like, what's going on with that?
No, they saying the most complete team, position by position,
What are the
quarterback,
metrics?
running
Yeah,
back.
what are the metrics? I need metrics. I need data.
We're talking about the Hogs. We're talking about Dexter Manley. We're talking about Charles Mann on defense. We're talking about one of the best defenses ever completed. All I'm saying is, and they talking about the coach of Coach Gibbs is the best coach.
Like, what about the undefeated Miami team?
gotta
What
think-
about
they stunk.
the New England team?
You got to
Like, what
think
about
it's a
those
lot
teams?
of teams that they had to kind of choose from, and if they can just say they could pick that team
I don't
out
understand
there,
their analytics.
That's a tough pick,
Listen,
but
we
at the
had
same time, when you look at it, those guys really, they had a lot of guys that still to this day we saying that should be Hall of Famers.
Well,
you know.
should be, and we got Hall of
but you
Famers.
know how that thing goes.
We got Hall of Famers from that Rams team. I'm just telling y'all, and they're gonna add another one in Big Flesh. Yeah, and I'm talking in third person. We had the NFL MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year, Marshall Faulk. We had a couple Pro Bowlers, Lando Pace, Hall of Fame left tackle. Torrey Holt's going into the Hall of Fame.
Easy.
Isaac Bruce is in the Hall of
Hyping up
Fame.
all his boys right now.
I told you I'm going to the Hall of Fame.
I'll agree on that.
I'm sorry.
Dick Vermeil, the head coach, is in the Hall of
But
Fame.
he ain't no Joe Gibbs. He ain't no Joe Gibbs.
I'm not
good
gonna.
point.
You ain't gonna put me to have me judge my kids. I ain't gonna tell you who's my favorite
See,
kid.
Fred, Logan and London weren't here last week, so I feel like they forgot. This is Command Center. So we show Washington love here, fellas, okay? Let's get back on track. I'm going to take this over now, and I'm going to ask y'all for y'all Super Bowl predictions real quick.
49ers.
Oh, they getting it?
Hey, man, I'm with Kyle. You rocking with Kyle? Let's go. We rocking with Kyle, man.
Every 49 I know is a gold digger. I am going to go with Kansas City because I don't believe in ever going against Patrick Mahomes. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah,
for
me
going
either, but
against
I just
Patrick
feel
Mahomes.
like we gotta right that ship today, man.
Here's the thing.
This year.
I want the 49ers to win because of Kyle and Trent, Chase, and all those guys.
yeah.
But I believe the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah.
I believe they're going to win it.
I have a little doubt somewhere in there, but I just want the 49ers to, finally,
get
get
over that,
there and finish it. You know?
I would love for Kyle to get over the hump and get that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, my heart says Kyle, but my head, you can't go against Patrick Mahomes. And plus, that defense for Kansas City has been outstanding the past couple of weeks. That is a playoff winning, because defense wins championships type of group. So it's going to be really good football.
It's going to be a tough one, though.
And Logan, you mentioned heart, right? I got one more tweet for you guys. Something that touched my heart when I saw it live on TV on ESPN.
I can cry.
So not only is there the Super Bowl, but there's also something called the Puppy Bowl. Ain't that right, Tim? There's something called the Puppy Bowl. And right now we are going to show you a clip of Santana Moss.
Let me see this.
At the Puppy Bowl. This was tweeted out by American Kennel Club. It's an agility course with B, the Sheehan sheep dog.
Whoa.
I like
Good
how
job, Brian.
Yeah, and she was just that. She was look, one of the things about it, I was scared to even get out there with her, but they say, look, if you follow these instructions, you will be all right. And hey, all I had to do is do what I do. Show your boy. Let me see.
Yeah, let's see.
I want to see it.
Because let me tell you, it's heartwarming.
Because none of us got rings.
Look at this.
Oh, there you go, Tana.
Oh, there you go.
Tana, have you done this before? You look like you had training.
Ever, man. Ever.
Do you got dog food in your hand right now? What are you doing? He a wizard.
Hey, man.
What's his dog go? Good job, Tana. Man, how cool is this, man? Talk us through this.
It was dope. I mean, honestly, you never really, imagine myself being in this moment. Having a dog at my home that I had to take care of because my nephew brought it with him. Yeah. My nephew now has left the house but left his dog. so they were like, hey, Tanner, we heard you're a dog lover. Well, yeah.
I was forced to be.
But, man, when I got on set, it's one of those things. You know how it is to get on set, man. They ask you, can you do it? Hey, I'm going to do it. Let's go. Had a good time.
Well, Tanner, you definitely look like a dog guy in this video, man. Great to see you. Just getting the flowers you deserve, man. I watched the show, man. They had your graphic up. They were showing your highlights, man. Really cool to see, but we love having y'all here with us on Command Center. Command Center family, we have a lot more fun stuff to get into. We have the draft, we have our coaches. We're going to keep you updated through all of that, so make sure you always tune into the Commanders YouTube page. Brian Copeland Jr., Santana Moss, Fred Smoot, London Fletcher, Logan Paulson, we out.
Just chill.
Tonight, Dad came with He didn't want his little sweet potato to be here without him. But now, he really wishes she was here without him. Next time, he'll just let her roll with her new entourage. And he'll only trust SeatGeek with the tickets. Because when she finds her happy place, he can find his way back to the car. The ticketing app trusted by fans. SeatGeek, so fans can fan.